everybody, Steve here. Well done. You've got so far in the course. Keep going. Make sure that you take those notes and you refer back to the videos to get the most out of this course, okay? Today, the 9 essential ingredients of a great speech. Now, obviously, in some of these videos, there is a bit of a crossover of ideas and strategies, but I'm trying to put them together in a way that's accessible to you, and some of those ideas will be reinforced as we go along, which is what my intention is, to help you remember. So let's look at ingredient number 1. Establish common ground. Listeners are more likely to pay attention to speakers with whom they share common experiences, problems or goals. So right at the outset of your presentation or your public speech, you need to establish this common ground with people and talk about how those connections are actually very real in terms of the relationships that you have, possibly that you already have with the audience, or certainly common experiences. Ingredient number 2, a startling statement or a statistic. Use intriguing or startling statements or statistics that arouse curiosity. For example, 950,000 people in the Middle East may not be able to eat 3 meals a day in the year 2021. That's pretty stunning, isn't it? Use an opening statement that will grab people's attention. Ingredient 3, a story or a brief anecdote. Now, we've mentioned this briefly before, but let's have another look at this. An interesting story, whether it's emotional, humorous, puzzling or intriguing, commands attention. True stories are powerful emotional triggers. They can be about a personal experience or something you've read. For example, an interesting thing happened on my way here today, blah 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 blah. As long as it was interesting, of course. Or, the first time I jumped out of a plane. Okay, you won't get me doing that, but it could be an interesting story. Those kind of stories or anecdotes can be good to start a speech. Ingredient 4, a rhetorical or actual question. Rhetorical questions don't ask for immediate responses. Instead, they are aimed to get the audience thinking about an issue or concept. For example, did you know that you lose 10 billion skin cells every day? Okay, we don't want them to put their hands up on that and to take part in some kind of great debate and discussion. That's a rhetorical question. Ingredient 5, a quotation. You can use the words of a famous performer, author, athlete or singer or some other renowned and highly esteemed figure to get interest and attention immediately. For example, when I was a small child, I heard a wise man say, quote follows. It's very, very easy to get great quotations online. Just put in your subject heading and this kind of quote you're looking for, there'll be loads. Just be a bit choosy about what you have for your presentation. Use humour. Some speakers love to start a speech with a humorous anecdote, but you have to handle humour with care. I keep underlining this very, very important point. Regardless of how funny a story is, it must be appropriate to the point you want to make. Merely telling a few jokes is not a good way to introduce a speech, and a joke that falls flat is humiliating. Remember, it's one of our big blunders, and you will lose your credibility. Ingredient 7, a great concluding summary. It should be brief. Don't ramble. Don't introduce new information. Don't overload people. Give an overview to help people grasp your key points and go back over what you said in bullet point formula. Help them to grasp those things that you said, and then wrap up with a call to action. All speeches should lead somewhere, have a goal, a purpose, a destination. This will impact people and enable them to change. Now, of course, for the call to action, you need to be very specific about what you're asking people to do. Don't just assume that they know. Leave them with something to do, a decision to make, signing on the dotted line, applying this, implementing that. Make sure that you give them the opportunity to make a decision and to take action, and explain to them very, very clearly what it is you're expecting of them. Ingredient 9, Leave the audience with vision. Inspire them, motivate them, encourage them. Vision is a great thing to have. It's looking forward. It's a sense of expectancy. It's positive. It's glass half full. It's yes, things are going to happen. I'm encouraged. I'm energized. Life is good. Leave them with a vision. So I leave you with that vision now. In the next video, the 9 basic rules of public speaking. We're going back to the basics. So get your notebook out and be ready.